Welcome, my name's Chris Smith, Shambles Guru on the interweb, and I'm here with Dr Stephen Whitehead, who's the coordinator of the Keele University PGCEi International course. Stephen, welcome.
Hi, thanks Chris. Thank you.
Now you're going to talk through a few PowerPoint slides with us here now to give people who are considering signing up for the course a better idea of the benefits.
Sure.
So would you maybe tell us a bit about where did this particular course come from?
Well, Keele have been running the PGCE in the UK, secondary and primary, for many years, and it's been a very successful programme. Now, I came out to Asia a few years back, set up the MBA Education International programme with Keele as Keele's Asia programme coordinator. And it was clear when we came out here, and Keele got more involved in the Thailand Asia market, we realised that the expansion of the international schools meant there were a whole lot of people out here who weren't qualified with PGCEs, hadn't got teacher qualification. And we thought, okay, well, let's offer the PGCE equivalent out in Asia, which is this PGCE International. And that's really it, and it's an exciting new program to be involved in. So
you identified there was a need here, and then exported it out from the UK to Asia.
Basically, yeah. And I think that, the number of international schools is grown enormously in just the last decade. I mean, international schools, as you know, have been around a long time, but in the last decade they've grown phenomenally in number, and they plan to grow even more so over the next decade. So there's a lot of people out here who want to get into teaching in them. Some they have degrees, they speak English, but they don't have a PGCE, and they don't want to go back to the UK to get one. They can get one very effectively, relatively inexpensively, out here now in Asia, with the Keele version, which is just coming on stream.
Yeah, and you're based in Asia as well, so that makes
I'm based in Thailand, and that makes it a lot easier. There's myself teaching on it, but also designated PGCE tutors will be coming out from Keele in the UK.
Yes. And
I will say at this point, it's a Keele University program, so every aspect of this PGCEi is taught, managed, assessed, credited, and verified by Keele.
Okay. Actually, before we talk about the venue and the structure and everything. You just touched on who it might be, who it's focused at.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Let me move on a couple of slides here. We're going to go out of order here, because I think what you just said was that it was aimed at people in international schools, but it's actually more than that, isn't it? It's aimed at people who might want to work in international schools in the future.
Yeah.
But I think I remember reading in the brochure also it was more than that, wasn't it? Didn't you mention in the brochure that it might be relevant to people who wanted to work in English language teachings?
Anybody who wants to be involved in any level of teaching at all, basically, because if you want to work in a bilingual school, and there's about 200 or 300 in Thailand alone, if you want to work in a top flight international school, or if you want to be just a jobbing teacher working in an English language centre around Asia, with this qualification you'll not only get a job quicker, more likely, but you'll also get higher pay, because one of the ways in which these institutions, these teaching institutions, evaluate your salary is based obviously on your qualifications. Yeah. So you can go to you can go to an agency, an English language school anywhere in Asia, walk in often without even a degree, but of course if you've got a degree, it's an English degree from a reputable English or Western university, and in an appropriate subject, it's got a link to the teaching subjects you're going to be involved in, and you've got a PGCEi, well of course you're then into the top flight salary, with all the career progression that offers.
And money is a great motivator, but I suspect most educators in the world aren't motivated by it, and they're not doing it for the money. We're not doing it.
It might not be that people are doing it for the money, but I mean, there's a lot of people moving out towards Asia. They see career opportunities out here, quite rightly. And education, English language education, whether it be an international school, whether it be an English language school exclusively for English language, the opportunities are there, and it's a good lifestyle, and that's what attracts a lot of people, I think.
It sounds like this would be a good course if you were a spouse and your partner was coming out to work in Asia, and you're wondering, what am I going to do out here to settle in or look for something? That sounds a great opportunity.
Yeah,
for somebody in that
you've got,
situation.
as it says on the slide here, teachers who don't have a teaching qualification. There's quite a few in Asia, and already a number of the applicants we've had in for the programme are people working in international schools in Asia who are teaching assistants. So they've not moved into full teaching positions, but the teaching assistants or support teachers maybe working on a full-time basis in an international school.
Yes.
Now they can get the PGCEi. They then become fully qualified teachers, and that then moves them into fully professional positions as teachers in the international school sector. There's also the expats who are living out in Asia, who've sort of drifted out here, maybe like it, want to hang around. They're too young to retire. They've got degrees and maybe got work experience. So how do they get into the system? Well, they can get into the system without a PGCEi, but with the qualification that Keele are offering, of course, they're much more likely to get taken on.
Yes.
And they don't have to worry about getting it any time in the future, because you get this qualification over a fairly quick period at a very advanced level. But they're then into the international teaching career situation. And of course, the other market for us is those teachers who are local teachers, maybe, particularly those from countries where English is readily spoken, like Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, but also teachers anywhere who are working in education who want to get an international qualification in teaching.
So if you're a Thai teacher, then there will be a relevance there for a Thai teacher.
Sure, absolutely. And I think for many Thai teachers, if they've got the English language skills, and they would have to have IELTS at level 6.5 or above, English language skill at that level, then they can come on the programme. We welcome them. Okay.
Let's talk about a bit about the structure. Before we look at the content, let's talk a bit about the structure and the venue, because this is a real bonus. Let me go back a couple of slides here. Let's look at this. So maybe tell us a bit about the structure, the time commitment, the venue. Okay, let's start with the venue. I mean, it's hosted at Harrow International School, and that means basically we're using Harrow's fantastic facilities for teaching this programme. We've got not just classrooms, but there's a designated area that Harrow have in their international school in Bangkok. Bear in mind that Harrow have a number of international schools now. They're opening one in Hong Kong soon, and they've got one in Beijing. But the one in Bangkok is the facility we're using. It is very, very good. It's very plush. It's 5-star facility. Is a teaching environment. That's where we actually do the taught elements of the programme. And the taught elements of the programme are 6 2-day, 3-day weekends over the course of about 32 weeks. The programme lasts 32 weeks from start to finish. Starts at the end of November 2012, finishes at the end of June 2013. And in that period, I say there's a number of taught elements which are delivered at Harrow, and students attend at Harrow. Though we are setting up the facility, though Keele can go to students in other parts of Asia, and students would have to, people have to contact me on that. I can say more about that on. But that's not, that includes the upfront teaching or just the classroom practice? Yeah, no, that includes the upfront teaching. We will go to, I've already had inquiries, for example, from teachers working in China. Now, if we've got a number of applicants from China, we can go to China and deliver it. Yes. There will be an extra cost to the student for that. Alternatively, for no extra cost to them, they can come to Harrow in Bangkok. The choice is something we can negotiate with individual applicants. So just remind me, did you say 6 2-day weekends up front? Yeah, 6 2-day, actually 3-day. They start on the Friday, normally finish on the Sunday night. Right. But yeah, 6 in weekend blocks, so it doesn't interfere with teachers who are already working full-time in schools. They can come on the programme. It's quite accessible for them. Some of the blocks do coincide with the international school holidays, but basically there isn't much in the programme that's going to interfere with someone being able to continue doing their full-time work. The PGCEi is notionally a full-time programme.
There are teaching blocks on it, 3 teaching blocks, a total of 18 weeks. And there are study periods when the students aren't required to attend at Harrow or on the teaching practice. Students can, of course, do the teaching practice in their own school if they're already established in the school, and if they aren't, then Keele will find them a teaching practice in an international school and will provide the mentor to see them, to oversee them and support them through their teaching practice. All this is built into the cost of the programme, which makes it a very unique programme, because the students are not only getting quality teaching practice experience, we'll find them a teaching placement if they haven't already got one, and we will do direct taught input. So the students are going to come face to face with a Keele tutor on at least 6 weekends. It's about 20 hours contact time, face to face contact time, which is much more than anything is being offered by any other programme of its type in Asia.
So would I be correct in saying that this could be part of a continuing professional development programme in a school for a teacher, or actually teachers might already have it, for a teacher assistant? Teacher assistants.
Well, teachers assistants are the ones who we clearly are already applying, and we would expect them to be interested in this programme. A teaching assistant's got to make a decision at some point in his or her career. When do I go and get a PGCE? Now, I've had already in the last few weeks that we've been starting marketing this programme, I've already had inquiries from, for example, the teacher who's teaching in an international school in Japan. English teacher. Now that teacher was planning to go back to the UK to do a PGCE. Now it's a big cost. It means the teacher's got to give up their work in the school at periods to go back to the UK, pay for the PGCE in the UK, and then transfer it back out here. That teacher would have to take a year out of their work and pay not just for the programme but for the living costs back in the UK. Now, with the PGCEi, the student doesn't have to do that. The student can do the programme out here relatively easily and come away with an international qualification which is transferable to any international school in the world, not just in Asia.
So it can be thought of as in-service training. You don't have to stop your job to do this.
You don't have to stop your job to do this.
Which is brilliant. It's great. But it sounds like it's going to be a lot of hard work. What can you give prospective students sort of a benchmark? This is almost an impossible question to answer. Benchmark of how much work is required from a course participant?
I can't answer that because we've got a 32-week programme that involves, as I said, 18 weeks of teaching practice. So you can't quantify what the teaching practice is for an individual school, but you're talking full-time teaching. And
the teaching practice could be in your host school as well.
It can be in your host school, yes. or you can go outside to another school if you choose to do it. Yes. That's the choice of the student. Then there's the study periods when you're actually doing essays, writing essays, developing assessment criteria. And then there's the attendance at Keele. Attendance at Harrow International School, yes. Where Keele tutors will take you through the taught elements yes. of the programme.
Yes.
For sure, it's a commitment, and it's a serious commitment. But you'd expect it, because this is going to give people professional status. At the end of it, people are going to come away with a qualification that's going to be kite marked by Keele University, a university that's got an excellent name for running PGCE programmes in the UK and over many decades, saying this person is equipped, capable and ready to work in an international school as a full-on teacher. And the standard of international schools now around the world, particularly here in Asia, is very, very high. The schools are mostly for profit, which means that there's expectations on the teachers, on the managers, of certain quality and effectiveness. And the standard of A-level attainment, I'll say now, in the international schools in Asia is now surpassing that of A-level attainment in the UK. Mm. Recent research has confirmed that. So Keele is saying, these teachers are able to work in that sort of environment. And I have to say, the teachers I know, and I've met many, many teachers in international schools in Asia, once they're out here, they don't want to go back to the UK. They love it out here. And you get different teachers who particularly prefer different countries. I know teachers who like to live in Vietnam, some like to live in South Korea, some China, some Indonesia, some Japan, some Thailand. You've got the choice. With a qualification like this, you can actually go anywhere.
Yes.
It's instantly transferable.
Yes.
What I will say, what it doesn't offer you, and I will say this, this program does not offer QTS qualified teacher status in the UK. If a teacher wants to work in the UK system, and not work in an international school, they should go back to the UK and do the PGCE in the UK.
The 1 year course.
The 1 year
yes.
QTS program in the UK.
And Keele offers that.
Keele, yeah,
Yes.
that Keele offers that, and they get 200 or 300 students every year doing the secondary PGCE in the UK. But those teachers generally, those students generally don't want to go and work in the international sector. They're based in the UK, they're living in the UK, and that's where they see their career. But this program is designed for those working in international schools.
Yeah,
No.
it sounds like it's for convenience.
It's for convenience,
Yeah.
and teachers who are already established out here, working out here, linked with the school, can continue all that.
Mm.
It won't interfere with the job. It'll be extra work for them while for the 32 weeks, but that's, you know, it's a balance. They're
Yes.
going to have to work at that, do that extra work for the program, but at the end of it, they've got professional status.
Yes. Okay, let's move on, because we want to try and do this within 20 minutes, so it's not too long. But listeners, of course, know where the speed up button are and the stop button and the rewind button is on the recording. Let me move to the slide. Can we talk a bit about the content now?
Sure.
Let me see where the slide is. This is the right side, I think, isn't
That's
it?
correct, yeah. Well, those are the key themes, and these key themes are all taught at master's level. And this is one of the bonuses of this program, because successful students who achieve these modules and themes at 50% or over will get credits at MA level, which are then transferable to master's programs in other universities around the world, and master's programs at Keele, Masters in Education and Learning, I'm saying now. So that's why we've organised it this way, because there are recognisable themes there that, although they're distinct, together they take in most, if not all, the issues that you're likely, or skills and issues and concerns and learning and knowledge base that you're going to need to work in an international school. Obviously, teaching, learning, assessment, looking also at curriculum, looking at the A-level programme that's delivered out here, GCSEs, the International Baccalaureate, distinguishing between them, understanding how the assessments are and how schools go about structuring them, timetables, delivery styles. That then leads on to the educational philosophy and psychology of learning, highly important, looking at the principles and practices of learning, some of the aims and objectives of learning and teaching in the international school setting. Again, the psychological processes of development of the child over a period of years, different age groups, styles of learning and cultures within the school. Then the teaching and professional issues for the teacher, and particularly again in the setting of Asia, because teaching in Asia is, say for example, teaching in an international school in Bangkok or Jakarta or Beijing is a lot different from teaching in Middlesbrough, Manchester or London. The environments are very different, and the multicultural international learning environment and the issues that arise from that are something that we will be exploring at depth for students on the programme. And the final element is the reflexive practice, and that is a portfolio that students produce over the course of their teaching practice, which shows the evidence for what they've taught, assessment evidence, feedback maybe from pupils at a higher level, feedback from their mentor, clearly, because each student will have a mentor who will designate a mentor who will guide them and steer them and observe them in teaching practice. So this is a reflexive practice portfolio which is presented as evidence in the last piece of work that the students present, and that then culminates in their final hopeful graduation on the programme. Brilliant.
And the question that's always asked at the end is, and where do we find more information? And
yeah.
Well,
if anybody who's interested in this programme can come directly to me on my email at Keele University UK @gmail.com, and they can apply online at the link shown on the slide, and that will take them straight into online application process at Keele University. The process is fairly straightforward. People put in references, they put in a statement, a bit about themselves, obviously. And one final thing I will say before we close on this is that the fees for the programme are between £3,000 and £6,000 for the 32 weeks. The differential in fees, the £3,000, £4,500 or £6,000, depend on whether or not we can alleviate students from some elements of the teaching practice. So those students who've got experience in teaching will probably have the opportunity to have reduced fees because they won't do all the teaching practice that's required. Those students who come on the programme with no teaching practice experience whatsoever will pay the full fee of £6,000.
Thank you. That was good. You didn't breathe when you said that last one. It was a bit of a long sentence.
Yeah.
He talks about money and he stops breathing. Right. Before we just finish, let's like to bring listeners' attention to the we're using social media in as any forward-thinking organisation does with any program now, and so you can follow the initiative on Twitter. And the address is up here. I can bring a pointer in and bring this round here. So just log on to Twitter and follow there. A Facebook will be account is set up as well. And these other social media, and it will build up. But just for your first sort of bite size into it, it's advisable if you're interested in the courses to follow us on Twitter at PGCEi Keele, and or just go to Google, and there's a hashtag here which is hopefully going to cover most of the social media that's relevant to the course. Just go to Google and search for a hashtag, or the Americans will call this a pound sign, PGCEi Keele. Stephen, have we missed anything? We almost did the 20 minutes. We're a bit over, but
I don't think so. I mean, it's a very exciting programme. It's one I'm delighted to be involved in. I'm delighted to be able to offer it at Harrow International School. I would say excellent environment. And I would say to anybody who wants to work in international education, wants to teach out in Asia, or even anywhere in the world, and Asia's a big place because, you know, we're looking, even in Asia, you're looking from the Middle East out up to the Philippines, if you like. If you're interested in that area, if you're not already in international education, you want to become a teacher, then this is the sort of program you're going to have to do. Because the whole area of international schooling is becoming more professionalised, it's becoming more advanced, and it's not simply you can walk off a plane and walk into an international school and get a job in the way you used to be able to do. Now you have to show qualifications, and if you've got a degree, first degree, and if English is your first language, or you've got good level of English competence, then this is a program that you should be considering.
Brilliant. Stephen, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks, Chris.